Alright, it's your boy, the Oracular Nerd. I'm finally back to speak towards the Fantastic Four and hopefully the X-Men panels all in one video if I can. And hopefully I don't take up too much time like I did the last time. I'm a lot more awake than I was at first, and I got my water, so I'm not as dry as I was at first. So please bear with me, you guys. Um, for the next, I'll refer to the Fantastic Four panel that debuted. Of course, they had Josh Trank, Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Toby Kebbell, Jamie Bell, Kate Mara, and Keinberg all come out on stage together, which is cool. I didn't hear as much as applause. I know a lot of people wanted me to comment about, like, do you think that they're going to get booed? What do you think is going to happen? Like, are they going to get shut out? Like, are they even going to debut any footage? I think that they did. I mean, overall, I didn't expect them to come out to be like ballistic, like right on each other's backs and laughing and all this other type of stuff. I mean, I expected them to come out like as a regular cast and crew and just talk about the film in general. I mean, as they did. I think one thing to really think about, like when we saw this panel, was that a lot of people were like, they need to win over the fans. They need to do this. They need to do that. But I'm like, yo, I mean, they've basically been telling you the entire time what this film is supposed to be, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. To be honest, I'm not going to say I don't care, but I can respect you if you don't. But I mean, if you have any disagreements, it is what it is. I'm not going to argue with you, of course. I'm not going to get offended, as some people have hilariously pointed out. But I'm going to be as honest as I can. I mean, they've been telling us exactly what this film was going to be from the jump. They said it was going to be a lot grittier, a lot darker. It's gonna be, it's gonna have like the family aspects. But one thing that I really admire what Joshua Trank said, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, thank God for Holy Trank. Oh my gosh, thank you. No, it's nothing like that. But one of the things that I think that he was very precise on that he said was the fact that he said that this is an origin story that shows you who these characters are before they become the characters that everyone's familiar with in the comics. And sure, I'm paraphrasing that, but this is basically what he said. If anybody's willing to go back and watch the footage for themselves, and like how he stated that this was basically taking inspiration. I didn't really hear him mention too much of the Ultimate Comics, but he did rely upon mentioning that they would be emphasizing that thematic element from the earlier process within the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby comics, when the characters first go through these changes, and what it's like to go through these changes, and etc., and embrace these overall powers. Like, again, I know a lot of people, they don't want the origin story. I've heard that tons of times. I'm not telling anybody to accept the fact that they're doing an origin story. For me, I'm always down for seeing like a different take. I mean, look, we're getting like a new Spider-Man. Even though we're not going to get another origin story, we are going back into high school and all these other things as well. You look at so many different franchises like the X-Men. People want the X-Men to be rebooted. That's something it's not going to necessarily be a different origin story, but it's definitely going to be like a refresh take on the franchise as well. So I'm always down. I have nothing against origin stories as long as you tell it like in a different way that makes it most likely inspirable for anybody else that's out there that's willing to, like, give it a chance. These are the people that I'm addressing these things to, the people that are willing to give this film a chance. If you've already made up in your mind that the film sucks, Trank is a hack, oh my gosh, I hate the cast, douche faced, Miles Teller, whatever, it's cool. But that's fine. That's fine. But for the people that are willing and very enthusiastic, or at least interested in seeing what this film is bringing to the table, I think that they're just trying to, like, they're not trying to give away too many details, which is pretty smart. Of course, I wouldn't want them to get up on a Comic-Con stage and state, everything that happens in the movie, who fights who, really puts somebody like on the brink of death, and I don't want to know that. Just tell me some of the things that I want to hear. And it seems like, Toby Kebbell and Miles Teller, they're gonna have, like that chemistry between, Doom always knowing that he's gonna be smarter and more powerful than Reed, and of course Reed trying to not necessarily make amends, but or not even necessarily make peace, but I guess have this type of respect out towards the both of these individuals who are like, like night and day. I mean, the ego, mainly the ego that Toby Kebbell mentioned about Doom, is something that I was really enthusiastic to hear, and the fact that he was able to go over certain limits, like with this ego, and how he's able to develop more of this character who is actually Doom, and etc. Those are all good things to hear. So, I know they probably couldn't really go into details about too much. I think they kept things pretty neat and clean cut. I heard, like from different blog sites, I mean, it was just the worst one. You know, it just sucked. I mean, it, it was just. I mean, they took it too seriously. I mean, like, what are they necessarily taking seriously? And this isn't me even being offended or defensive at that. You know, it's just me like replying in general. We already know that the film is going to be is taking a serious, you know, approach and whatnot. So I mean, some of these things are expected to happen. I didn't expect them to get out, you know, cracking jokes like the Deadpool panel, because the Deadpool film is a different type of film compared to this one. Even with the X-Men panel, I mean, they, you know, they made their jokes and etc. But some of them came off a bit weird, especially, I guess, for some people, hot. Like with Olivia talking about the hot dog. I'm like, okay, like how many hot dogs can you chug down? Golly. But no offense to her, she's a beautiful woman, but she just did give off a pretty weird vibe for a second. But overall, I mean, I think that they all, you know, I think that by the time that this film is over, everyone will have a lot more to say about it. As for the people that, you know, aren't willing to give it a chance, you know, so be it. That's cool. But you know, people are going to go see it, and people are going to have thoughts about it. And those are the thoughts that I'm really interested in hearing. Whether you want to support the film by going out and buying a ticket, or just, you know, going and watching the bootleg, I do want to hear people's thoughts about what they actually thought about the movie. So, moving on. I think I should move on now before I get too preachy in regards to it. But overall, Fantastic Four panel. If I had to rate on the scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 7. They kept things pretty clean and pretty clean cut. I heard they debuted a third trailer. They did debut some footage, etc. There were people who said, "Oh, it looks like, you know, X-Men: The Last Stand." It looks, you know, I just didn't get it. I already know that there's people out here who don't want to give this movie a chance. And I can tell based off the way that they're talking in detail to it. X-Men: The Last Stand had some pretty great visual effects, especially like when Bobby and Pyro were going at it with each other. I guess, I mean, to some people, it was actually like one of the best. I mean, not the best, but one of the most X-Men movies that they've had yet, because it did show more team dynamics and etc. You know, the makeup with Kelsey Grammer, etc. Some of the visual effects, they were all brilliant. So I mean, I won't say it looked generic. Some people, they already have their minds made up in regards to what they think about the movie. They want to kill the hype for it. But I'm pretty hyped, just like I'm hyped for any other movie, Ant-Man. So let's bring it. I think I'm going to cut this one short because I think that these videos can only last about 10 minutes for each one. So I think I'll cut it right here. I don't think I have anything else left to say in regards to the panel in general. Besides the fact that they couldn't ask way too many, they couldn't ask any more in-depth questions about the movie, of course, because a lot of people say that they tone things down for the panel questions and whatnot. So there's only but so many things that you can like really say. So I mean, I'm pumped to see it. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm going to do a review regardless, you know, and I'm going to just see, like, you know, what this movie is all about. What's the controversy surrounding it? What are people's official thoughts once they see the final product? And, yeah, you know. So that's pretty much it for the Fantastic Four panel. I'm going to move on to the X-Men one next, and that'll probably be my last one for the day. I can always go into the DC one, but again, I haven't watched the footage for that one either. But yeah, the X-Men one's definitely coming last, and thank you for watching this video. I'd like to know you guys' replies, complaints, whatever, you know, whatever the case may be. I'm more than willing to talk about it, and just know, you know, of course I'm gonna be rash. I'm still rash on the inside, so yeah, I'll see you all in a bit.